Thank you very much, Greg, and good afternoon, everyone. It's always very challenging to try and speak after such eloquent and very elaborate points made by all of you. However, allow me to just make a few reflections, starting with what Helen just said. I think what stood out for me from Helen's point is that we've been probably trying to solve a very multifaceted problem that involves policy, geopolitics, social and cultural fabrics as they come in different regions, but also the ecosystems that are very contextualized with a technical solution. So it's sort of like we've been trying to put a Band-Aid on a wound that requires a surgical procedure. So we may be having to ask ourselves that 75 years as we celebrate the UN founding and the UN system in its different agencies, organizations, why did we miss the mark? Maybe we missed the mark because, as Francesco said, the healthcare and the primary healthcare systems are not functioning as well as they were intended to function when the Alma Ata was declared many years ago. And the other thing is, as my colleague from the UNHCR, have we been inclusive in the planning and execution of the programs, of the policies? Are the marginalized, including the refugees, been a part of the process? And then why is it that we have also, as different partners, as we all heard, partnerships are very important, but have we been applying the right lens of partnerships to solve the problems in a concerted manner? So it seems like, in a way also, we have perpetuated a silo mentality, an approach of solution seeking and delivering on the solutions and tracking on progress. And what strikes me also across the board is that we also, over the years, 30 years down the line, as Helen said, since the UNICEF framework was conceptualized, we've been looking for sort of silver bullets for quick solutions and forgetting that malnutrition is not something that you solve overnight. It takes a long-term investment, it takes a long-term commitment, and putting resources that are lasting for 2 years, 5 years is not going to cut it. So we may be having to rethink, as we now are talking about a proper systems approach, a multi-sectoral integrated planning, co-creation of solutions, and acting and tracking together. We need to be ambitious, that is great. But in our ambition, let's not be blinded by wanting to be hasty at the same time. So taking the time, acting timelessly, where it is needed, with whom and how, and with inclusion. There's a saying that a journey of 1,000 steps, I think it's a Chinese one, starts with a single step. So maybe we may have wanted to start at step number 20 instead of starting at ground zero and going step by step to find solutions and be together. And then I'm reminded also of an African proverb that indeed, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. The question is, have we been going together for the right reasons, for the right intentions, and for the right outcomes? So as we look at the policy and mindset shifts, we should also, going forward, be looking at building sustainable capacities to achieve the sustainable development goals and to help the countries that we work in to also be able to help themselves solve their own problems. Because as they say, when you are the one sitting on the fire, nobody can tell you that it's not warm enough, it's not hot enough. A systemic approach. And then more importantly, I think for me, the application of science without prejudice and the application of science, not only in terms of modern science, but also, as Helen said rightfully, in terms of including other knowledge systems, traditional, cultural, etc. And then avoiding flavors of the month. I'm reminded when the days of Kwashiorkor and marasmus were there, we forgot that there were other forms of malnutrition. Maybe we didn't have enough science. Then came the era of micronutrient deficiencies. Then came the era of chronic malnutrition. And we seem to have failed to build all these different forms of malnutrition to allow us to have long-term sustainable solutions and long-term sustainable results. Not forgetting that to build that, you need to really understand that building lasting solutions are accumulated over time and with very targeted actions. And understanding further that food systems are very unique to each region. So it's not the same for everyone. So as we understood from the dry lands from the Sahel, might I also add from the Kalahari, and somebody said from the Eastern Horn of Africa. So all these are different. So I think this work has shown us that we really need to be context specific, look at the agroecological zones, and then also understand that preparedness to build that resilience and to have those solutions that are crafted for as and when they should be applied and by whom. And I'm talking about homegrown solutions acted upon, devised in partnership across different sectors, across different agencies and different partners. So I believe we work together, but let's all start to think outside of the proverbial box and to think inclusively, to think long-term, and to really start tracking better in addressing the gap. Thank you very much.